and welcome to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill, and this is Julie, and we are here today with Tracy, who has a special announcements about our summer reading program.
Hello, and thank you, Jill, for letting me be on Friday Reads. We're in the second half of summer reading program, which means we have 2 new exciting programs I get to tell you about today. For kids, we have Pony Big Mouse kits that are at the library. They're just first come, first serve, and you can ask for them at the desk. The other program I wanted to tell you about is specifically for adults. It is Heckrod Wetland Reserve presents Owls. It's an educational program that will be taking place at Sunset Park at the amphitheater on July 1st. You have to call ahead to register for this program. In order to keep everything really nice and safe with COVID, we're just asking for a registration, so you can call the library at 920-788-7515. And if you attend the program, you'll learn all about owl behavior. And
what is the date for the program, Tracy?
July 21st.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Great, and I'm going to pop up, and as you can tell from my getup and the shark behind us, Jill and I are celebrating Shark Week for Friday Reads. So I'll turn it over to Jill to kick us off.
So I'll get us started. I don't know if there's actually a shark in this book, but it made me think of Shark Week right away. Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman. Aaron is a documentary filmmaker on the brink of a professional breakthrough. Mark is a handsome investment banker with big plans. Passionately in love, they embark on a dream honeymoon to the tropical island of Bora Bora, where they enjoy the sun, the sand, and each other. Then, while scuba diving in the crystal blue sea, they find something in the water. Could the life of your dreams be the stuff of nightmares? Suddenly, the newlyweds must make a dangerous choice to speak out or protect their secret. After all, no one else knows who would be hurt. Their decision will trigger a devastating chain of events. Have you ever wondered how long it takes to dig a grave? Wonder no longer. Catherine Stedman's enthralling voice shines throughout the spellbinding debut novel. With piercing insight and fascinating twists, Something in the Water challenges the reader to confront the hopes we desperately cling to, the ideals we're tempted to abandon, and the perfect lies we tell ourselves.
Ooh. All right, and my first pick for Shark Week is The Meg by Steve Alton, published in 2018. This book has been revised since it was first published in 1997. On a top-secret dive into the Pacific Ocean's deepest canyon, Jonas Taylor found himself face to face with the largest and most ferocious predator in the history of the animal kingdom. The sole survivor of the mission, Taylor is haunted by what he's sure he saw but still can't prove exists: the massive mother of the great white shark. The average prehistoric Meg weighs in at 20 tons and could tear apart a Tyrannosaurus rex in seconds. Taylor spends years theorizing, lecturing, and writing about the possibility that Meg still feeds at the deepest levels of the sea. But it takes an old friend in need to get him to return to the water, and a hotshot female submarine pilot to dare him back into a high-tech miniature sub. Diving deeper than he ever has before, Taylor will face terror like he's never imagined. Meg is about to surface. When she does, nothing and no one is going to be safe, and Jonas must face his greatest fear once again. This book is actually the first in a series of 5 books, and it was also turned into the sci-fi movie The Meg, starring Jason Statham back in 2018. So, the Meg series, if you want to be scared by sharks, there's 5 books in that series.
I found on our new video shelf the Deep Blue Sea 3. Now, somebody told me the Deep Blue Sea 1 was the scariest shark movie they've ever seen. Ooh. But this is the one that's the best rated on Rotten Tomatoes. So dive in if you dare. On the tiny island of Little Happy, Dr. Emma Collins and her team monitor a flourishing marine nursery. On a tiny island of Little Happy, Dr. Emma Collins and her team monitor a flourishing marine nursery where great white sharks come to breed. Their idyllic existence is interrupted when Emma's ex-boyfriend arrives in search of 3 murderous bull sharks. But these aren't ordinary sharks. Their mother, Bella, was genetically modified to be highly intelligent and dangerous. As their body count rises, it's clear that Bella's offspring inherited her killer genes, and if they manage to spawn, life as we know it may end. Get ready for the deadliest return to the Deep Blue Sea yet. Yeah, it was rated 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a pretty good for a shark movie, you know?
All right. And my second pick for Shark Week is The Shark Club by Ann Kidd Taylor, published back in 2017. One summer day on the beach in Florida, two extraordinary things happen to Maeve Donnelly. First, she is kissed by Daniel, the boy of her dreams. Then she is bitten by a black-tipped shark. 18 years later, Maeve has thrown herself into her work as a world-traveling marine biologist, discovering more about the minds of misunderstood sharks. But when Maeve returns home to the legendarily charming and eccentric Hotel of the Muses, where she was raised by her grandmother, she finds more than just the blood-orange sunsets and key lime pies she's missed waiting for her. While Maeve has always been fearless in the water, on land, she's indecisive. A chance meeting on the beach with a plucky, irresistible little girl who is just as fascinated by the ocean as Maeve grows up, leaving her at a crossroads. Should she rekindle her romance with Daniel, the first love she left behind when she dove into her work, or indulge in a new romance with her colleague Nicholas, who turns up in her hometown to investigate an illegal shark finning operation? You have to read the book to find out how this all turns out. The Shark Club by Ann Kidd Taylor.
With love in it.
A romance with sharks.
So my next one is The Life of Pi. This is an older book, but still a great one. The Life of Pi is a fantasy adventure novel by Jan Martel, published in 2001. The protagonist, Piscine Molitor, Pi Patel, is a Tamil boy from Pondicherry, explores the issues of spirituality and practicality from an early age. He survives 227 days after a shipwreck while stranded on a boat in the Pacific Ocean with a Bengal tiger named Richard Parker. This novel is filled with symbolism, including sharks. The threat of being killed by sharks is a powerful catalyst for Pi. They keep him in the boat under many circumstances when he'd rather be anywhere else because, there's a tiger in the boat. Knowing the sharks mean possible death forces Pi to become more inventive about ways to deal with his predicament. He has to find a way to cope with Richard Parker, for example, because he cannot risk dealing with the sharks. And Richard Parker is actually controllable in a way the sharks are not. So in many ways, the sharks represent outside forces, the dangers of his personal reality, that compel Pi to deal with what's actually happening in the boat. They are a boundary line past which he cannot cross on a psychological level. So a little deep shark stuff.
Love that book. Love the movie.
Very good. Very good book.
My third pick might be familiar to some of you. It's the Sharknado Collection, which has 1 to 6 of the Sharknados, starring Ian Ziering and Tara Reid. So number 1 was Sharknado back in 2013, when a freak hurricane swamps LA. Nature's deadliest killer rules sea, land, and air as thousands of sharks terrorize the waterlogged populace. Then we had Sharknado 2, the second one. A Category 7 hurricane spawns heavy rain, storm surges, and deadly sharknadoes as they're heading to New York City. Sharknado 3 was Oh Hell No! A monstrous tornado unleashes ravenous sharks from Washington, D.C. all the way down to Florida. Then we had The Fourth Awakens. Finn, his family, and the cosmos have been blissfully Sharknado-free in the 5 years since the most recent attack. But now sharks and tornadoes are being whipped up in unexpected ways and places. Sharknado 5 was global swarming. With much of the America lying in ruins, the rest of the world braces for a global Sharknado. Finn and his family must travel around the world to stop them. And then 6 was the last Sharknado. It's about time. Finn has to go back in time to rejoin his shark-battling friends to stop the first Sharknado and save humanity. So, the Sharknado Collection, starring Ian Ziering and Tara Reid.
I can't believe there's 6 of those.
I know.
I watched one. There was a shark in a living room. It was just so wild. Okay. Another high-quality movie I have here is 47 Meters Down. It's a 2017 survival horror film directed by Johannes Roberts, written by Roberts and Ernest Vieira, and starring Claire Holt and Mandy Moore from This Is Us. So that's worth watching for her. Sisters Lisa and Kate become trapped in the bottom of the ocean when a diving expedition to observe sharks goes horribly wrong. When the cable holding their shark cage sinks to the bottom of the ocean, the sisters must figure out a way to get back to safety while battling injuries, lack of oxygen, and worst of all, bloodthirsty sharks. The movie was not well rated by critics, but the ending is haunting and memorable, for better or for worse. So, yeah, the ending. There is a sequel also called 47 Meters Down Uncaged, which is a little preposterous, but there are plenty of scary blind sharks and high body count in this, which make shark movies fun, you know.
And on a more serious note, my fourth pick is The Devil's Teeth, a true story of obsession and survival among America's great white sharks by Susan Casey, published back in 2005. This is a nonfiction book. You travel 30 miles north, south, or east of San Francisco City Hall, and you'll be engulfed in a landscape of thick traffic, fast enterprise, and expensive cappuccinos. Venture 30 miles due west, however, and you will find yourself on what is virtually another planet, a spooky cluster of rocky islands battered by foul weather, thronged with 200,000 seabirds, and surrounded by the largest great white sharks in the world. Susan Casey was in her living room when she first saw the great white sharks off these rocky islands. In a matter of months, she went down to the Farallon Islands to join Scott Anderson and Peter Pyle, the two biologists who bunked down during the shark season each fall, in the island's one habitable building. 2 days later, she got her first glimpse of the famous, terrifying jaws up close, and she was instantly hooked. Her fascination soon yielded to obsession and an invitation to return for a full season. But as Casey readied herself for the 8-week stint, she had no way of preparing for what she would find among the dangerous, forgotten islands that have banished every campaign for civilization in the past 200 years. The Devil's Teeth is a vivid dispatch from an otherworldly outpost, a story of crossing the boundary between society and an untamed place where humans are neither wanted nor needed. So The Devil's Teeth.
This one is also a nonfiction book that involves real sharks. In Harm's Way, The Sinking of the USS Indianapolis and the Extraordinary Story of Its Survivors by Doug Stanton. On July 30, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was torpedoed in the South Pacific by a Japanese submarine. An estimated 300 men were killed upon impact, and close to 900 sailors were cast into the Pacific Ocean, where they remained undetected by the Navy for nearly 4 days and nights. Battered by a savage sea, they struggled to stay alive, fighting off sharks, hypothermia, and dementia. The captain's subsequent court-martial left many questions unanswered. How did the Navy fail to realize the Indianapolis was missing? And perhaps most amazing of all, how did these 317 men manage to survive? It's a harrowing, adrenaline-charged account of America's worst naval disaster and the heroism of the men who, against all odds, survived. Interweaving the stories of survivors, Doug Stanton has brought his astonishing human drama to life in a narrative that is once immediate and timeless.
I'm going to end with Shark Week, everything you need to know. Published in 2016, also in the nonfiction section. You can put this on hold in the Info Soup catalog. Gliding through the water at breakneck speeds, a fin just skimming the surface of the water. The biggest jaws you've ever seen. These are the iconic images that flash through all our minds when we think of Shark Week. But there's so much more to know about these majestic predators of the sea. If you're already a fan of Discovery's phenomenon Shark Week, then you will love this book. From the unique look of the prehistoric whorl shark to the hunting techniques of the great white, all the thrills and chills of Shark Week are now here for your year-round reading. Filled with photos, first-hand accounts of shark attacks, and unbelievable facts. Did you know there are sharks that live in volcanoes? Or that over a lifetime, the toothiest sharks might grow and shed 30,000 teeth? This book is for every shark fanatic who wants to get even more up close and personal. Now you really can live every week like it's Shark Week.
The shark in the volcano makes me think of the Sharknado. Well, thank you for watching. We hope we gave you some good ideas of things to read and watch in Shark Week. And
like and share our video. We always love to hear from you. And thanks for watching, and happy Shark Week.
bye.